Hello everybody, welcome back. In this video, I shall show you how we can use lists in making a memory game. Now, as you know, list is a very important part of Scratch. List is in fact a very important programming concept as well, right? So this game will help us learn some of those concepts yet again and see them in action. So before moving further, let me show you the game that we are building today. It's a very simple game that we have created. Basically, when I click flag, I get a bunch of buildings and I get this character which goes to different buildings. Let's see this again, right? It goes to multiple buildings and then it asks us questions on where all it has been, right? So it's asked, for example, which was the first building that I visited, right? And I believe it was two. So I shall give the answer two and it says, well done. Uh, did I visit building number four? Actually, I do not remember. Probably it did. If I say, oh, in fact, it did, right? So, at which position did I visit building number three, right? So, for example, one for first. So, let's say probably it was two, right? Or say, I'll say if I say two, um, it says you need to be more attentive, right? Now, really, this is not the most, let's say the most advanced memory game out there, but that's not the point, right? The point of this video is to understand how we can build something like this and how do lists come into play, right? So to do this, you recall in this game here, there are, when I click flag, a bunch of buildings come up and they have these numbers written on that, right? So I will start from that a sprite, the building sprite, right? And I have already modified their costumes to have a number under each of those, right? So I've got seven costumes, building one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, right? I do not want to spend time on this, right, in this video, but basically for every costume, right, we have named the costume also one, building number two as two, and so on, right? And just briefly how we did it is that we added the building sprite. All right, so we added the building sprite here, right? This building sprite, so that's the second one here. Now in here we removed some of those which are very, which are very like wide. We removed these, we did not need them. Then we went and used some text and wrote something, for example here, let's say one and two and so on and so forth, right? And one, two, three, four, and also we renamed this costume to be one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, right? Now this just helps in coding, and I trust you can do this on your own, right? So basically, our presentation today will start assuming that you have prepared this, let's say, seven buildings, or it could be seven sprites, or could be anything where our, the main character could travel to, and then you'll have to remember where all this character went, right? So let's write a little bit of code. The first thing we want to do is to make sure that the buildings appear in the stage, right? So that is like, typical usage of cloning. We have been doing this for a while, so we shall just go ahead and do that again. uh, so basically I say, look, when flag clicked, right, when flag clicked, I, of course, I hide the building, which I do most of the time when I do some kind of cloning, right? And I also want to, make a clone of this in a way that these, buildings appear at a certain position on the stage, right? So going from left to right, right? However, I'm, in this process, I want to be able to remember things. I want to be able to store where all my, my character, which is a Noor in this case, has gone. So I'm going to create a couple of lists here, right? So now this is really starting of the usage of lists. And what you will see is that we are just sort of, adding lists to something that you already know, which is basically placing sprites in a row, which itself is a little brother of placing sprites in a grid, which we have seen multiple times earlier, right? So what I'm going to do now is to create two lists. So the first list I create is called costumes. So I've already created that. Now this list will contain all the costumes that the building has, and there's a reason we have this list. It will become clear as we go on. I'll also create one more list called, let's say, I'll call it X positions, right? So in this I am going to store where all the building is being placed, right? So remember, lists are like big brothers of variables. Lists can store multiple things at once, right? And that, it turns out becomes a very powerful feature in many things, right? So here we have created two lists, and now we will see how we will use them, right? But before we do that, it's always a good practice to say that when I click the flag, I delete everything from that list, right? What that basically means is that any values that were stored in the list will get deleted, right? So this is a function of list we have seen before. I'm using it again. So delete all of costumes and delete all of exposition. This is basically just saying that let's empty out the list. It's always a good practice, always recommended, yeah, to do so. Now I'll say, the building I want to set the size of the building to a little bit smaller than what it is. So I'll say set size to say 80%. I mean, this is okay. You can choose some different number as well, right? And I remember my goal here is to place the buildings in one row, which is like, placing them in a grid, but just in a row, right? So I'll say, I'll go to motion block and I'll say set x to minus 200, right? Because I just want the building to go from somewhere to the left to right. So I just say, for example, say minus 200, right? Again, nothing particular about this minus 200, but just that I want to put it somewhere on the left side, right? Now, remember my building costumes were named 1 to 7, right? So I want to make sure, and I'll show you here, I want to make sure that when the building's placed, sometimes I get 3 here, sometimes say I get, I try it again, I got 1 here this time, another time I might get 5 and so on. So I want to kind of randomize these things, which keeps my game interesting, right? So to do this, a simple method would be to use a random number and set the costume of the building to a number between 1 and 7, right? So that every time it is different, right? So what that will do is that every time I play the game, the sequence of buildings would change. Yeah. So I'll do that by saying, switch costume to, it says 7 here right now, but I can go and use a random number, pick random 1 to 10. So let's say I say pick random 1 to 7, right? The reason I put 7 is because, as I told you, there are 7 costumes in here and I've named them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it's just easier for me to, address them, right? So I say switch costume from 1 to 7, randomly pick up 1 and switch costume to that. And after this, now I'm going to start cloning, but then I'm also going to start using my list. So please pay attention to this, right? So how do I clone this thing? Let's say cloning part is, I think, quite simple by now. So I'll say repeat this 7 times. All right. I will say go to the control block and create clone of myself, right? Remember, it's building cloning itself. Okay. Having done this, I will say change x position by 60. So basically, I say I put one building here, I move x by 60, and I keep doing this for 7 times, right? So this we have seen before, so I'll just rush through this quite fast. I will say change x by, say, let's say 60, right? So what this does is that it will create a clone of the building, right? Create a clone of myself, and it will do that every 60 x values, right? So you will get 7 buildings which are separated from each other by a value of 60, right? Let's just see how this works, and for this purpose I'll for now hide my list. Let us see how this works. However, before I could do that, I must say what I do after I start as a clone, and in this case it's very simple. I'm just going to say when I start as a clone, show. It's exactly the same as what we have done in the games like Brick Breaker or the Whack-A-Mole game, where we made clones and we just made them basically be there just to show, right? So I'll say show, right? Now when I do this, let's see what happens, right? I get building number 5 7 times. And why did I get building number 5? Maybe because the random number here was 5. If I did this again, this time we got 7. Now I got 1. Now I got 2. Now let's say I wanted to get different buildings every time I clone. Very simple. I can use next costume at the repeat, right? So if I say next costume here, then what will happen is that, I will get a different building every time, right? So I, for example, now we got 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So on another time, I could get 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it will always be in order, but the starting point will change because that depends on the random number that has been picked up here, right? So this particular thing is quite, I think, okay. The next costume is a little bit new part, but that's just basically saying that before I make the clone, change the costume. That's all, right? So if I do this again, it changes all the time, and this I do this so that my game remains a little bit interesting. I can't memorize this, right? I have to observe this closely and then look at it, right? So now, so far so good. There's nothing much new in this except that I've added two lists which I'm now going to use. Okay, so the first list is going to keep track of which costume has ended up where, right? So remember, this part is random, right? So we start from a random number, so it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 5, it could be 7, it could be anything from 1 to 7. So we will keep track of this using a list called costumes, right? So how do I do that? In this repeat loop, I go to my lists block and I say add, right? So I say add, go to looks, costume name to you know to the so I'd say co costume, costume. It says costume number here, but I can also call it costume name to the costumes. Right now, really doesn't really matter for me because my costumes are numbered and named identically, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Costume name refers to this thing, that that value there, and I'm saying that add this to costumes, right? So every time I create a clone, I basically add uh, that particular costume to my list called costumes, right? So let's see what this does. If I make my list visible, it will be clear to you. So if I did this here, right? If I, click this, notice my costumes are, the list called costumes has become 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, right? And you notice that the buildings here also are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, right? Now, strictly speaking, I could have put next costume somewhere else, but really doesn't matter. So basically I'm picking some number, I'm going to the next costume and then putting it from there, right? So no issues. So long as my this list captures this sequence, I'm good, right? So let's see it again. So this time my list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you notice the list itself has the same thing. So this list here is carrying where these buildings have ended up, right? Remember, it's a random function. I do not know upfront where they'll end up. So I keep track of which building has ended up in what sequence, right? So starting from value number 1, value number 2, it's starting from left to right, right? So here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another time it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, right? So I know that building number 3 is the leftmost building. Building number 4 is the second from left. Building number 1 is, let's say, second last from right, and so on and so forth, right? And the last number is 2. So that is one list I've created. Now the other list I'm going to create, which actually I've already created, the other list that I'm going to maintain is this list called X positions, right? So what do I want to store in this? And it will become clear why I'm doing all this once we go to the next part of the game, right? So now I want to store where this building has been placed. Okay, so what do I mean by where? Remember, I'm changing these X values. So I want to make sure that each X value that I'm using here gets stored in a list, right? So basically it's, minus 200, minus 200 plus 60, minus 200 plus 60 plus 60, minus 200 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60, and so on and so forth. However, instead of having to calculate all that, I can just store that in a list as well, right? So I will again use this add something to list. Now remember, this command basically populates the list. It will add stuff. It's like a list, like a bag. You add things one by one into that list, right? So I am going to add here the in the motion part, I'm going to add here the X position to, not to costumes, remember, okay? I'm going to add this to X positions. All right. Now let's see what this does. And to understand this, again, I'm going to make X positions visible. All right. So with this, what happens is I have now, you know, two lists. The first list is containing which building appeared on the leftmost position, after that which building, after that which building. Second list is containing where did the building that was on the first element of this end up, where was the x position of that, that is minus 200, that's because of this. Next one, as I told you, will be minus 140 because I'm changing x by 60. So minus 200 plus 60 is minus 140, minus 80, minus 20, 40, 100, right? These numbers, since many of you may not be familiar with this concept of negative numbers, so list is very helpful here. Just take this, that this is where the x value of that building is, right? So we have now got two lists here, and they are containing respectively where the buildings are, right, which is the x positions, and what are those buildings in this order, right? So notice this corresponds to the two lists here. Okay, one thing before I move on is that it's extremely important to put the add to x positions before this change x, and the reason is that if you did not do this, right, let's say if you inverted these two, you would have put costume 1, let's say costume number 6 here, but you would have put the x position for the next building, and that will cause a bug in your code, right? So don't believe me, just try interchanging these two and you'll see the effect, and in fact it will have a uh, kind of cascading effect in your code, right? So remember, first add the x position which is carrying on from here, because that is where you are placing the clone. After adding the x position, change it, and then add to the add the let's say create the clone, add the costume, add the x position again, right? So that we are all, we are containing for that particular clone what is the information, right? So we have got, for example, building number 6 at minus 200, building number 7 at minus 140, and so on and so forth. So this ordering is important. Please pay attention to this, right? Here I did it again. So I got building 3, 4, 5, 6 in this order. Building 3 is at minus 200, building 4 is at minus 140, building 5 is at minus 80, and so on and so forth, right? So these two lists now will be very handy to us, and we are going to make use of them in the further part of the code, right? So this basically has completed our background, right? It's set up the background that we had, and at this point I am going to broadcast a message called background ready, right? Now I always do that because I do not want anything to start prior to this background getting ready, right? So I'll say, let's say I say background ready. Now with this, right, with this, pretty much I'm done with what I have to do on the building. I'll come back to this, but now I'm going to introduce my hero, which is this character called Noor, right? So now Noor, remember, is the person, is the character who's going to walk around these buildings, and you are going to have to guess where all Noor has been. I mean, not guess, hopefully you're going to have to remember and tell where all Noor has been, right? So I'm going to add a sprite here. Once again, there's no compulsion on you to use Noor, or for that matter buildings, but just I have to use something to illustrate, right? And again, this purpose of this lesson, this video, really is for you to focus on the lists part of it, right? So do not worry too much about whether the code is whether the sprites are looking whether the, let's say, project is looking very beautiful or something like that, right? Doesn't matter, you can fix all of that provided the code is robust and solid. Okay, so now I've added Noor as a sprite, right? And when basically when I what Noor is going to do is to visit these buildings once the buildings are ready, right? Obviously the buildings must be up there before Noor can start anything, right? So what I will do is, when Noor comes, when the flag is clicked, I'm going to hide Noor, right? So I'm going to say, Noor, please hide right now, because I do not want it to be visible when the buildings are being formed, right? So I'll say, look, Noor, please hide. Okay, when flag clicked, hide. And additionally, I want Noor to be slightly higher. So I will just say, maybe I will say, uh, let's say I will say set y2. So I go to motion and say set y2 minus 10, right? Now I don't know, I'll go back and check if I set the y position for the I did not do it. I could have done a y position for the building as well, but it doesn't matter because buildings by nature sort of are coming down. They just set up at a low enough y value, right? So it seems like it's all right, right? So we'll see, we'll have to fine tune this a little bit probably, but in the beginning I will set y to 10 and then I will hide Noor, right? Because Noor doesn't need to be shown earlier, right? Now, once the building are set up, I'm going to receive a message called background ready, right? So I'm going to tell Noor, when you receive background ready, please please become small because the buildings are like smaller than you, right? So I'm going to say set your size to say 30%, right? So I'm going to say, Noor, please set your size to 30%. All right. Now I want Noor to go to say four different buildings. All right. So there are seven buildings in all. I want Noor to randomly visit four different buildings. Okay. So what I can do is that I will ask Noor to create a list so that Noor can store which buildings she has gone to. All right. So I am now going to create one more list for Noor to store where all she has been. Okay. So I'll say I'm not a make variable, sorry. I'll say make a list. Okay. And I will say, let's say Noor, say I'll just call it Noor positions. Okay. Now these names again have to be reflective enough so that we understand what they are trying to do, right? So I'm calling this Noor positions, and the idea here is that I am going to set Noor, I'm going to send Noor to different buildings, and I'm going to keep storing where all Noor has gone. Okay, so now this gets a little bit tricky, so you have to pay attention to this, right? There is some kind of catch in this, but once again, a very strong illustration of lists. Okay, so I'm going to say, look, Noor, you are going to go to four different buildings. So I say repeat four times, right? Say I say repeat four times. Now I'm going to set a variable. I'm going to create a variable called POS, right? Now the name of this variable seems perhaps may seem odd, but that's okay. So I'll just call it POS, and let's just call it POS. So as a short for position, right? It's also good to get used to some of these programming tricks that we don't name everything very large and we kind of understand what it means, right? So POS here means position. I am going to tell Noor that, look, Noor, please pick up a random position every time you want to go to a building. However, that random position must be between 1 to 7, because remember, my building has only there are only 7 buildings that I have. Yeah. How do I do that in a systematic manner, right? So I'm going to say, Noor, repeat 4 times, set POS to operators, pick random 1, 2, right? I could have put a 7 here, but a better method of doing this would be to go back to your list and say 1, 2, length of, right? 1, 2, length of, say, costumes, right? Now remember the length of costumes, I could have used length of expositions as well, but here I'm using length of costumes because length of costumes is basically just the number of buildings that I have in this game, right? So if I tomorrow want to have a game with only 5 buildings, then I will not have to go and change this code because I'm using length of costume. The list costume will take care of it, right? That's why I prefer to write length of costume than the number 7. Okay. Now here we are saying that, go pick a random number between 1 to 7 and set that to the variable position. So this variable POS is holding that number. Now I want to send Noor to that X value which corresponds to the particular building that Noor has chosen, right? So for example, let's say Noor has chosen, building number 6. Okay, so now it turns out building number 6 is at location number 4, right? So in the way it's written up right now, that X position is given by this item on the list, which is -20, right? So if I look at item number, item of that position, I will be able to send Noor to that X value. Remember, Noor will not understand costumes, but Noor will understand X and Y position. Remember, these are the addresses for the sprite. Long back we have done this, but Noor will understand those X and Y values only, not the costume numbers, right? So what I will do is that I will say, Noor, I'm going to set your X position to, so I have this thing here. I say set X to, and please pay attention to this because this is where lists are really being used here. I'm going to say set, this X to item POS, okay, item, and POS is a variable, item POS of X positions. Okay, so what this will do is that, let's say I have picked up a number, pos is 1, right? Let's say pos is 1. Noor will pick up item pos of X position, which means item 1 of X position, which is in this case, say minus 200, right? Uh, Another time, pos might be, say, 3, in which case it might be minus 20, right? So let's go further from here, all right? So now I'm saying that pos is a random number between 1 to length of costumes, and I'm setting Noor's X to the item pos on X positions, right? Later on, we will see this a little bit slowly and we will understand what is going on here, right? Now I'll go on. So I'm telling Noor to go to that X position, and now I can tell Noor to come alive, come basically be visible. So I say Noor show, right? Say wait for half a second because I can't have Noor showing forever. So I say Noor, please wait for half a second and then hide again, right? So I'd say duplicate this hide and I'll say hide again, right? So now I know that Noor is going to the X which is given by the position of X positions, right? I'm sending its X there, which means it will basically go there, right? So I want to basically make sure which all buildings Noor has gone to, right? So there are two things here. One, to make it go there, I use the X position, but for all other reference, I'm going to use the building number. So I'm going to add an item in Noor positions called, let's say, so I'm going to use this again, add, let's say, to Noor positions, right? To Noor positions, item pos of costumes. Now, please pay attention to this. I'll explain to you why I'm doing this, all right? So I'm saying item, say, there's a variable here, item pos of costumes to Noor positions, right? Now, remember, in any list, it's always good to delete everything from it once the code starts, right? So first thing I must do is to delete, as to basically clear Noor positions when flag is clicked, right? So when the flag is clicked, I say delete all of, delete all of, say, I can do it little maybe here, right? Delete all of Noor positions, right? So that will ensure that Noor positions becomes empty when the flag is clicked, as you see now, right? In order to understand this part of the logic, let us artificially slow down this entire code by changing this half a second wait to, say, 5-second wait, and then also waiting 5 seconds in the end. Right now we will remove all of this once we are through with this code. Okay, so let's see what happens when the flag is clicked. So as always, buildings get created. Remember, Noor has now gone to position number 6, hence Noor is at 6, and that position turns out to be X of 100, and hence Noor was at 100. Right now Noor has taken position 4. It turns out position 4 is minus 20, that must be here, and Noor positions has added 4, right? Let's see where else does Noor go. Noor has gone to position number 7 now. 7 says X of 160, so Noor goes to X of 160, and in Noor positions we add 7, right? So Noor positions, remember, is keeping track of where all Noor has been. So once again it picked up 7. It was 160. Noor came here, and we added 160 to, we added 7 to the Noor positions, right? So basically, let's just recap what's going on here, so that we do not lose track, right? So we have a list called Noor positions, which is keeping track of which buildings Noor has visited, because that's the question it's going to ask you later on, right? Now, remember, sprites can go to some place, can set X only based on the X and Y values, right? So Noor picks up a position and then it sets up the value based on the list X positions, right? So first it picks up a position randomly from 1 to 7, right? Now it says, okay, look, I picked a position number, say for example, position number 6, or in the first time. What is the X position corresponding to position number 6? So it looks at this list called X positions, and it picks up the item which was at point 6 in the X positions, right? So set X to position item X of item position of X positions, show, wait for some time, right? Then hide again, right? We artificially slowed it down. We will change that, and add the corresponding costume to the list called Noor positions, right? So remember, this addition is happening from the list called costumes, but it's the same thing. It's picking up the item positions of the costumes list and placing it there, and this goes on for the entire loop, right? Okay, so now the next question that comes up is how can we avoid Noor from going to the same place twice? Okay, now this is little bit tricky perhaps, but if you pay attention to this, it is not all that hard, right? Remember, the variable pos is keeping track of which position on the X positions and costumes Noor has visited, right? So if I somehow mark that position, if I somehow say, okay, Noor, you have already been to that position, please do not go there again, right? So if I did that, if I said that, please, Noor, do not go to that position once again, then I can avoid it from going to the same position in case a random number is picked up the same once again, right? So what I do is that before picking up a new number here, before I go back to the repeat, I do, let me remove these weights now because they are sort of their purpose is solved. I say delete, right? Pos of delete pos of costumes, and I also say delete, right? So let's see, where is it? Delete pos of X positions, right? So delete pos of X positions. Okay, so basically now what this will do is that once Noor has gone to one position, let's say position number 3, this particular list will be deleted. That particular item from the costumes and expositions will get deleted so that Noor does not go back to the same position again, right? So maybe I'll put the wait 5 seconds once again here, and we can take a look at what is going on, right? So I'll again go back and put, say, wait for 5 seconds, right? And now we will see what's happening on both exposition, and I'll also make this list costumes now visible. I'll try to fit it somewhere here. It's a little bit hard to find space, but never mind. I think we found some place, right? So X costumes and the expositions costumes and the Noor positions, right? So when I click flag, of course, everything clears up very quickly. The list of costumes I found out. It picked up position 3, which happens to be costume 5, right? Now notice when I came here, right, I have already deleted the position 5 from this list, right, from the costume 5, right? Now next it picked up position 6, which was costume number 2. Well, it picked up something else, which is costume number 2, and that has also been removed from this, right? So by doing this delete position, I am pruning this list so that I am making sure that if Noor has been to one place once, it does not go back to that place once again, right? So now I've done repeat 4, and with this, I will always make sure that I will get different values simply because if it has picked up a position, pick random one to length of, say, this thing. So let's say it picked up 3, it goes to item 3 on the X positions, and since it has already gone there, I go and delete that from the X costumes and from the costumes and X positions, and I add that building number into the list called Noor positions. All right. So this is important, and this is actually very useful, right? So with this, I can now say remove this weight. I don't need this weight to be here, and I can make this say 0.5 seconds, and I can even hide these lists called, say, Noor position and costumes and X positions. In fact, I can hide these positions as well. What's going to happen now? Every time I click the flag, the buildings will get placed. I will get a broadcast called background ready. Noor is going to go to these 4 positions and prepare a list called Noor positions, right? So notice Noor gets visible. It went 2, 3, 4, and 5. And just for the sake of understanding, if you looked at Noor position, it is indeed 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? Now with this done, now we are ready to go to the next part of the lesson, next part of the game, which is the quiz part, right? Now Noor is going to ask us some questions. So what I will do is, after this part, right, I am going to say, let's broadcast a message called, let's say this message called quiz time. Okay, so I create a new message called quiz time, right? Notice how we use broadcasts to streamline our code. So one thing happens, then the next thing happens, right? Now, one thing for sure is that when the quiz time is going on, I want these buildings to go away because I want Noor to be full size, right? So how do I do that? Very simple. I go to this buildings again, and I say when I receive quiz time, it means that my job is done and I can delete all the clones. And to do so, all I have to do is to say delete this clone. In fact, all the clones will get deleted. So all the clones will get this broadcast and they will delete themselves, right? Now, as far as the Noor is concerned, right? So I say when I receive, let's say I say, in the event section, I go and say when I receive quiz time, right? So I want now Noor to ask me questions. Now Noor could be anywhere. It has gone to all these different positions. So I say, look, Noor, please go to 00. So I say go to 00, right? Now I say also I want it to come back to its full size. So I'll say set size to 100%, right? So I say Noor, go to 00, set size to 100% and show. Okay, so Noor will now show, and now Noor can start asking me some questions, right? Now, why does Noor, let's say, how does Noor ask me questions, right? So I can, the simple fact is that Noor has kept its positions in a list called Noor positions. Now we will see how Noor can use uh, those lists in this small quiz that it will ask us, right? So we will say, let's say we go to sensing block and we say ask, all right, and we say, let's say, which building did I visit first, right? So which was the first building that I visit basically, right? So which building did I visit first, and that depends on wherever it in the random number it was picked up. So let's say, how do I know if the answer is correct or not? I can put, let's say, an if else condition here and say if the answer is right. So remember, whatever we reply will be stored as answer. So I say, I go to the operators and I say if, in the sensing block, if answer is equal to, now remember Noor is maintaining all the buildings that it went to in this list called Noor positions, right? So if answer is equal to item number 1 of Noor positions, right? Because that's the first building it has gone to. Remember, to set this list correctly, it should be Noor position. So if answer is equal to item 1 of Noor positions, then Noor has gone there and I have answered correctly. So maybe Noor will say, Noor will say, let's say it says well done, right? Well done, right? On the other hand, if I don't do that, then probably Noor will tell me, look, you need to be, please pay attention or something. Say you need to be attentive. You need to be attentive. Yeah. So again, we have used list here. This time we have probed the list called Noor positions. The first value of that is the first building that the Noor visited, and that's the question: which building did I visit first? If answer is equal to the first value of the Noor positions, then clearly Noor has gone there first, right? And that means my answer is correct, right? Now let's say I want to ask a different kind of question, right? Noor may want to ask us if she has visited a particular building, right? Now we know that Noor has visited only 4 out of those 7 buildings. Now, so Noor might want us to ask if she visited a particular building. Now, I am going to use a variable for this purpose, and I'm going to set a variable called, say, question 2, right? And you'll see this in a moment. So when I say question 2, I'll say set, for example, question 2 to a random number between 1 to the, I would have liked to do length of costumes, but I wouldn't do it here because remember I have been pruning this list of costumes. I'm deleting elements from those costumes, right? So I cannot use the length anymore. So I'll just say, pick random number between 1 to 7. Okay. Now, when I do this, basically it's going to pick up a number between 1 and 7. And now Noor can ask me a question. Did I go to a particular building? So for example, Noor says, ask, right? And says, let's say, join apple banana, right? That's a powerful block here, right? So I say join apple banana and I say, did I, Noor is asking me, did I visit, right? Let's say, did I visit building number, and what building number? Well, I can just use question 2, right? So what it will do is that whatever number it has picked up in question 2, it will ask me that building, and I'll have to remember, did Noor really visit that building, right? Now, once I answer, right, how does Noor find out if this answer is correct or not, right? It can use the function called contains, right? So if my if Noor position contains question 2, it means I visited, and hence if I answered yes, it must be correct. So I go to again to control and I say if then else, right? So basically, if let's say the list called Noor positions, right? If this list called Noor positions contains, right? So the list called Noor position contains the thing, right? So Noor list called Noor position contains the question 2, because if it contains question 2, it must mean that Noor visited that question 2, the building called question 2. So if it contains question 2, now I can say if my answer is yes, then so I can just say duplicate this part. I don't need so much of it. Let me clean this up a little bit, so I do not need any of this here. I'll say if my answer is equal to, say, yes, right, in case which means it visited and I'm saying yes, then I'm right. Otherwise it says you need to be attentive, right? Now let's say if it did not, right, if it did not contain this number question 2, it means that Noor did not visit this building, which means that I am in the else condition. And if I say so I'm sorry, I'm going to just duplicate this entire thing and place it here, in which case Noor has not visited this building. So this if is not correct. So Noor did not visit this building, and hence if the answer is, let's say, yes, then obviously I am answering incorrectly. So I'll say you need to be attentive, right? And otherwise I will say you need to be, you have done a good job, basically, right? So I'll just invert these two. Now let's say Noor asks me another kind of question. Now really I'm coming up with these questions so that you understand the different uses of lists. Okay. So I say, let's say I ask Noor, ask, let's say I want Noor to ask me, or in which order did I visit the building? So let's say at which position did I visit building number so and so, right? So for this purpose, again, I'm going to create a variable called, this time called question 3, right? So I say call it question 3 for all sprites. That's all right. So I'm going to say set question 3, right? Set, let's say, question 3 to a random number between, you know, uh, so I'm going to do something little different here. I'm going to say set question 3 to an item from the Noor list. Okay, so the Noor list is a list of buildings that Noor has visited. So I'm going to say, set question 3 to item, item from a Noor list. What item? I'm going to say item 1 to, let's say, Noor position. Yeah, so Noor positions is all right. But here I'm going to say item 1 to, right, item, where is it? So pick random 1 to length of Noor positions, right, which is basically, go to lists. So I'll say length of Noor positions, uh, pick random between 1 to length of Noor positions. So basically it's this, what this will do is that it will set question 3 to an item from the Noor list. Remember, it's not a number anymore. It is going to pick up an item randomly from the Noor list. So it's going to pick up a number 1 to 4, let's say. That item it's going to pick up and put in question 3, right? And the question I'll ask now is a little bit complicated, but it's okay, right? So I'm going to ask Noor, I'm going to ask myself, let's say, I'm going to ask Noor to ask me. In the operator, I use two of these join apple bananas this time. Join apple banana, right? And the way I ask myself this question is that I say, you know, so maybe I'll do this in two steps, right? Here, I put this here and I'll say, at which position, right? At which position did I visit building number, right? So let's say which building number. I want to ask building number, say, that is given by the variable called question 3, right? So at which position did I visit building number 3, building number question 3. And just to help me answer, Noor says, 1 for first. So if I think Noor visited that building first, I should say 1, 2 for second, right? 3 for third, 4 for, say, fourth. Okay. So if I did this, right, now my question is ready. How do I know what the right answer for this would be, right? So the right answer really is using another function from the lists variable, right? Remember, these questions are chosen in a way so that they illustrate the functions of list, right? The features of lists. So I'll say if in the operators, I'll say if answer is equal to if answer is equal to so let me just complete this, it'll become more clear after that, right? So I'll say if answer is equal to the item number of the list of the question 3 in Noor position. Now, why item number? Because remember, Noor positions contains all the buildings that I have visited and in that order. So if I went to building number 1 first, Noor position contains 1 at number 1, right? If I visited building number 6, then Noor position contains number 6 at position number 2. So if I read the item number of that particular building, right, of that particular thing, so I say item number of, let's say, question 3, right? Where is this variable? So I'll say item number of question 3 in Noor positions, right? So if I did that, and if answer happens to be the right number, then obviously I've answered it correctly. So I can say duplicate this part. I'll say no, I don't want to use if, right? I'll use if else here so that I have both those choices available to me. So if I say this much, now if answer is equal to item number of this, then I say well done. Otherwise, I will go and say you need to be attentive, right? And now we can just play this quiz once. So remember, the when the game starts, I get this building. So Noor has gone to 6413, right? So which building did I visit first? If I say 6, Noor should tell me well done, right? Because Noor knows that. If did I visit building number 3, 6, 4? I actually don't remember now. So if I say yes, let's say oh, so I did actually, yeah. So now let's say at what position did I visit building number 6? So building number 6 was the first position. So I say 1, and again I have used the fact that Noor position stored this, right? So this simple game, this simple quiz, it's very, very pathological. It's very, basic in a way, but it illustrates concepts of lists quite powerfully. And I think it's a great tool for students to learn about lists, right? So we have used add things to lists, we have used delete elements of lists, right? Like for example, we deleted position of list, we chose all these different features of lists, and with the hope that you will get comfortable with using lists. All right, I hope you enjoyed this game. Try variations of this, try building this. I'll be very happy to see your progress on this game, right? Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.